and visited and supported. But me, I was visiting her every day. At that point, I was like, this is more important. I need to focus on my wife.
Furthermore, visited and upheld, yet me, I was visiting her consistently. By then, I was like, this is more significant. I want to zero in on my better half Papoose, as of late gotten serious about the penances he made for Remy Mama, and what they've meant for his profession he shared his enduring help for her during her extreme minutes, just to feel like it was all to no end. Ya. You can't do this. You got to zero in on your vocation, and I resembled you. I couldn't care less about that, so everything just detached. Area rated for me around then, like my entire world came crashing. Then Remy Mama and Papoose have snatched the titles by and by. Yet this time it's not for their endearing romantic tale. Tragically, Remy Mama has as late wound up at the center of attention because of claims of betraying Papoose. Well, she was in jail. Their relationship traverses a great 15 years, which is the reason the fresh insight about their supposed separation has sent shockwaves through their committed fan base. I hit absolute bottom around that time, man, like it was genuine terrible. Papoose's new disclosures portray his resolute help for his significant other during testing times anyway. It appears to be that Remy didn't esteem his help at all. Remy made some intense memories she burned through 6 long years in jail beginning in July 2007. This happened due to an episode at a club in Manhattan, where Makita Barnes Joseph had Chance Rye was sentenced for attack, ownership of weapons, and endeavored compulsion on May 13, 2008. She got a 8-year jail sentence, yet she generally kept up with that. The shooting was unplanned. Back in the days, rappers frequently tossed large gatherings, and very much like some other rapper, Remy Smith and her companions were in the mindset for a party, yet things took a terrible pivot. 4:0 a.m. Yet again, when a contention began, the contention was between Remy Mama and her then companion Makita Barnes Joseph. Remy blamed Joseph for taking $3,000 from her. She had requested that Joseph hold her satchel, yet when she got it back, the cash was gone as they were leaving the party. Remy moved toward Joseph's vehicle and attempted to snatch her satchel back. She even had a positioning firearm with her. They started battling about the handbag, and during the battle, a discharge went off, hitting Joseph in the midsection. Remy left her costly Cadillac close by and removed a taxi from the scene. The police before long recognized Remy as the shooter and gave a warrant for her capture. She had to deal with penalties of attack, criminal ownership of a weapon, and endeavored murder during the preliminary. Remy guaranteed that the firearm went off coincidentally, and she didn't intend to shoot. Her lawyer got a ballistics master who made sense of that. Remy could have reflexively pulled the trigger during the battle. The lawyer additionally contended that Remy was truly the casualty that evening anyway. The firearm from which Remy fired was never found. The examiner brought up that after Smith shot Joseph, she didn't do what a great many people would. She didn't check on the off chance that Joseph was harmed, call for clinical assistance, or take her to the medical clinic. Rather, she ran. Max said she ran fan because in light of the fact that she understood what occurred in the vehicle, your companion is shot. Do you run? Or do you call 911? Papoose around then was Remy's beau through it all. Papoose remained close by. He never undermined her or even conversed with different ladies while she was in jail. He was extraordinarily steadfast and strong. Papoose's affection for Remy was solid to such an extent that he was even prepared to wed her while she was in jail. Yet things took a hazardous turn when he got discovered attempting to assist her departure from jail. He with Knight portrays a story when he was taught said into the phone he was able to face a major legitimate challenge for her, which shows exactly the way that profound his adoration was, and he tossed me in a cell anyway. As a result of this, he was unable to see Remy for a considerable length of time, which postponed their wedding plans. In the end, they traded their commitments via telephone. From that point forward, Remy and Papoose have turned into a 2 or 3 objectives. They welcomed their girl Think back in 2018, and their relationship has been bright lion since. Papoose has reliably decided to remain close by through various challenges. Papoose said he needs to respect his sovereign, assuming that she contradicts something. He needs to think about her viewpoint. Going ahead, he even called her sovereigns of all sovereigns. Anyway, things have veered off in an unexpected direction in their relationship on the grounds that Remy is at present up to speed in a swindling embarrassment. The amazing part is that she isn't denying it. This present circumstance He's very miserable on the grounds that, as we as a whole realize, Papo has forever been staggeringly faithful to Remy regardless of what Papo's vocation experienced big time due to Remy Mama's detainment back in the last part of the 90s. Papoose had every one of the makings of the following enormous rapper from New York, and he was truly near getting it going. He's most popular for his relationship with DJ K, Kill, his exemplary mixtapes, and his straightforward position on different treacheries through Yiga's music. I've gotten more cash flow on TV than I made in music. He had the ideal search for the period came from the hip-hop center of New York, where probably the best MCs in history hailed from, and had the help of the unbelievable hip bounce figure K-Say. He was a resolved rapper who continued to drop many mixtape a large number of tunes, gradually constructing a continuing in the roads. His most memorable break came when he showed up on Cool Hole's underlying foundations of Evil collection with the track Home Sweet Burial Service. Home in 2004. DJ Casey, a neighborhood radio character, had a week-by-week meeting where he highlighted unsigned craftsman Papoose. Catching wind of this open door, chose to make a tune for Castle Show. Made him stand apart was his striking plan to buy and by hand the tune to Clay at the radio broadcast. He figured this could allow him an opportunity to double a P for Kelly and put a face to the name anyway. When weeks passed and his tune didn't get played, Papoose developed fled. He visited the station again in any event, calling into Clay's show to communicate his failure. Clay's reaction was gruff. He let Papoose know that not every person could rap, recommending he become a fireman rather. In spite of this underlying mishap, Papoose persevered. When Casey left the radio broadcast, he found Papoose and his group holding up external. This conflict prompted a discussion, and Casey fostered a preference for Papoose. He played Papoose's tune on the radio, as well as marked him his road sweepers engrave as a highlighted craftsman. Papoose's profession began to take off after he performed Sequential Butcher live in 2005, winning the Best Underground Craftsman Grant. Busta Rhymes likewise turned into a fan, highlighting Papoose on the remix of his hit single Touch It. This consideration pulled in significant record names, and Papoose in the end marked a $1.5 million arrangement with Jive Records. Anyway, his process took a troublesome turn as he confronted obstruction inside the name. A few chiefs attempted to control him and prevent his vocation by deferring his presentation collection's delivery, the Nazara dream, regardless of his potential death. Obstruction made him miss his second in the music business. Disappointed by these misfortunes and the Mark's activities, Papoose chose to leave Jive Records after only a year. In the wake of leaving J Records in 2007, Papoose needed to begin without any preparation yet. This time he had more opportunity. He chose to utilize his foundation to share information and significant messages through his tunes, focusing a light on shameful acts like bogus detainment and badgering looked by dark hip bounce specialists based on what's frequently called the hip-hop police. One of his melodies drew consideration from the genuine police, those hip bounce cops. They started focusing on Papoose appearing at his live show, pestering him, and in any event, annoying his fans. This provocation frightened off fans from going to his future shows, which eventually prompted him being sidelined. On top of that, Papoose confronted a claim from the Sam Cooke domain over an example in one of his tunes, which frustrated its prosperity. Papers additionally sent off a burn character death crusade against him, attempting to destroy his music and his message. Areas of strength for him. Voice against the foundation couldn't endure these difficulties, and he addressed the cost with the quieting of his voice. Being a quiet rapper felt like an exercise in futility in the business. The last section of Papo's vocation is a digit amusing, reflecting how hip bounce changed over the long haul back when Papoose was attempting to leave his imprint. Hip Jump was about free demeanor, with verses becoming the dominant focal point over the music. Anyway, as we moved into the mid-2000s, cash turned into a major piece of the game. Instrumentals weren't simply a setting, they were fundamental for make individuals dance or possibly gesture their heads. One analysis Craps confronted was that his beat decisions didn't coordinate to his verses, making an unevenness. In the meantime, rappers like Jay-Z, Nas, Lyle, Wayne, and others tracked down the right harmony between beats, verses, and towing the line of governmental issues. Papoose's music inclined vigorously towards verses that were really expressive, yet come up short on groove that got individuals rolling here. turned out to be viewed as an information rapper who couldn't be quickly advanced due to it without legitimate advancement. His true capacity gradually blurred, and he wound up restricted to the underground rap scene, unfit to break into the standard. In 2013, his introduction collection at long last dropped and gotten extraordinary surveys inside the hip-hop local area anyway. It didn't detonate as it ought to have when it was at first expected to be delivered 7 years sooner. It entered the graphs at Number 97 on the U.S. Bulletin 200 and number 13 on the U.S. Board Top R&B and Hip